Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to the latest episode of the Hard Compound Live. For those of you who don't know, my name's Rich and I run and operate the Hard Compound. We're a one-stop shop for all things motorsport, from F1 to touring cars, Indy cars, rallying, bikes, NASCAR, and anything we can shake a stick at, really. We can be found on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter primarily. Just search for the Hard Compound on any of those platforms and come and give us a follow. We are here purely to share a love of motorsport. There's plenty of you out there that I'm sure love motorsport just as much as we do here. We put out 3 written articles every day, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. These are put out in the morning, at lunchtime, and in the evening here in the UK. These take the form of race reviews, race previews, throwbacks, birthdays, breaking news, any nice liveries that we like. And as before, anything we can shake a stick at, really. So come along and join in the fun. We'd love to have you on board. In case you hadn't noticed, we also do live video interviews just like this one. And just like this one, they are streamed on Facebook, Twitter, and our YouTube channel, which you can search for as well. They're automatically saved as well for watchback. We've had some fantastic guests, almost 140 now, I believe. And I won't name them all, but they're from across the motorsport spectrum. Most of the British touring car grid, past and present as well. Guys who have raced in Formula One. They've raced at Le Mans, IndyCar, NASCAR. I'll just give you a few names. You've had the honour and the privilege of speaking with Mr. Mario Andretti, with Mr. Jackie Ickx, with John Watson and Hans Stuck and Brian Redman, with Derek Daly and his son Connor Daly, guys like Chip Ganassi, guys such as Derek Warwick and David Brabham and Stefan Johansson and Emanuele Perro, Carl Wendlinger, Mika Salo, etc., etc. You get the picture. So do go and check those out, but don't do it just yet because we've got another great guest joining us this evening. He's, in his own words, just off air, he's had a very strange and different career and a different journey to motorsport, and it was one that took him all the way to Formula One. Plenty to get through, and he's a lovely chap as well. We've been chatting off air, and it's been lovely. So we're going to bring him in right now. Without any further ado, please join me in extending a very warm welcome to Mr. Siegfried Stohr.
Ciao a tutti.
Ciao. No, I can't get away with ciao. I'm going to say good evening.
Good evening, anyway.
Good evening. Siegfried, how are you?
Everything's okay. I'm on holiday in the Dolomiti, so on the mountains.
Lovely. That's a lovely place to be. Far more interesting than where I am here in the south of England. Well, firstly, thank you very much for coming on and having a chat, especially from your holiday as well. I appreciate you sparing some time this evening, so thank you very much. Right. It is time to get started. Guys, if you have any questions or comments, do put them in the comment section. We'll see them in real time, whichever platform you are tuning in on. As I said, we've got plenty to get through. So a good place to start, I think, will be at the very start. Where did your interest in motorsport first come from?
I was going on bicycle to the station, and I've seen a newspaper on motor racing, Italian newspaper. I buy it, and I found in the middle of the paper many pictures took in a parabolica corner of Monza, where you can see the driver from height. So you can see the hands of the driver. And basically, you see a car and a helmet. And from this picture, I see the man in the car.
Right.
And I said, okay, that is nice, it's beautiful. I want to see the man in the car, not the car with someone driving. And started my interest in Formula One. It was 1965.
Wow. So it was, so obviously quite a young age for you. And
yeah, I was 12.
Wow. Okay. So I think it sounds like you, like a lot of us, you saw it when you were very young, and it was something so completely different, and it just had something that kind of drew you in? And that was, the guy driving, and of course the Parabolica at Monza, we all know, is one of the best corners in the world. Even now it's changed a bit. I can see why it kind of got you in the heart almost. So did you have a favorite driver? I mean, you kind of said that you liked seeing the driver in the car. When you were young, did you have a driver who was your favorite? I mean, we said off air, for me it was Nigel Mansell, Ayrton Senna, these guys. Who was your guy?
Everybody, I remember the pictures of John Surtees, Bandini, Jim Clark, Jackie Stewart, and Graham Hill and Dan Gurney. The 6 drivers. And for me, everybody is fine driver. Everybody was something to look on and to be to follow. But 2 months later, I found that there was a circuit with go-kart.
Okay.
So I take my bicycle. I run 15 kilometers on bicycle, and I have 1,000 lire. I give the money to the man. He said, "You must have 14 years." Oh, yes, I have 14 years. And I make some laps on go-kart. And I realized I like to drive. I was doing football. I was a football player. Anyway, I like every sport at that time. So after 2 years, when I was 14, I started racing in go-kart.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a go-kart. I had a friend a French driver, and we were always together to fight in Pinarella of Cervia, near Rimini. And at last, I realized that I was faster than him, but only because I have a better engine. And that's don't like to me. So someone said to me, go, make a race. I have to race. Yes, you can go. And I start with my father with the cart on the car.
Okay.
And I went to Fano, and I was second at the first race, and it was good. But then I've made 1 year go-kart, and I was always the last in the... I was not fast because my engine was broken. And for me, anyway, it was good. I have no idea to run. Then after 1 year, my father buy to me a new engine.
Okay.
And with this new engine, I was very, very fast. And someone saw me from an Italian team and said, we want this young driver on the Italian team that has 4 drivers. And they pick up to me and they took me to European Championship.
Wow.
But I was a degree of second. I was to race, you must be third or second or first the license. I was
Okay.
on the license of second place, but they took me and was very fine to arrive to the championship and to see different driver, Holland, British driver, German driver. If you run and you are the fastest of your small country, you will never be great. You have to find abroad and fight with the best drivers of all the world. And for me, it was very, very nice to know other people with other go-kart, other helmets. And was I learned a lot from go-kart.
Yeah. And
I have 3 accidents. I broken my shoulder, and at the end, 1971, I stopped my career, and I was studying psychology. So finish go-kart was another life for me. My new life was a degree on psychology.
so that was kind of that was the plan for the career. You weren't thinking about becoming a professional racing driver or anything like that.
No.
There was something I did read about though, just before I think you stopped to do your degree. you had a race. Was it 1969? I read about at Pista d'Oro.
Yeah.
Was it for the Emilia Romagna team against, was it Nino Venieri? And I read about this. I think it might have been an interview you did somewhere, and you spoke about it. And Nino Venieri was the guy. He was like the guy in the team. He was the big guy, and you were just teammate, and that was it. But you beat him.
Yeah, but
Is it true?
everybody,
Is it true they were telling you to let him come past?
yeah, I had to let him to go past, but I was in the first position in my life in a so big race. I never happened to me. So my mechanic said to me, "Let him pass, let him pass." I don't want, so he stopped. I stopped, finish. And the people of the people of the Federation of Italian degrees come to me. Why you stopped? I broke the engine. No, I don't want to run this way. And they said that this is a new driver. This young driver has a future. We have to pick up him. So I was collected in Italian team very fast, quickly,
Right.
for this race with no experience, with only one engine, one go-kart, and four tires.
Nothing
Finish.
else.
Not yet.
Wow, that's amazing. And obviously you were beating him, and they just and they asked you to let him pass. And I guess the racer in you just said, no, I'm not going to let this guy pass. Good. I like that. That's good. That's how it should be. Fantastic. I've just seen a few people actually in the comments section. Good evening, Mark Bowman and David, and to Kales Cole. Now, I need to say about Kales, she is from Ireland. She's, I hope I don't get this age wrong. I think she's 20, I think. Around 20 years old. She's racing in F1000. We interviewed her a couple of years ago. And she's in single seaters now. She's gone from go-karts to single seaters. So yeah, guys, if you want to go and follow Kales, please do. Look in the comments, give her a follow. Very, very talented driver. She's going places, but she needs some help, as we all do. So, okay, back to you, Siegfried. And I'm sorry, guys, I have seen the comments, the questions in the comments. We're going to come to them because they're about F1, and we're going to come to them shortly. You've stepped away from karting and from racing. You got your degree in psychology. You're working as a psychologist. That's the career path. How did you get back into racing and with Formula Italia? How did it all start up again?
It's happened that working as a psychologist for the sanitary service, I had some money and I want to buy a motorcycle. And my friend says, it's dangerous. Don't buy a motorcycle. Why don't you buy a Formula Italia and you race? No, it's too expensive. It's impossible. No, we help you with this and this. Okay, we try. And I buy a car. I put on the back of my Alfa Romeo Alfa Sud.
Alfa Sud.
Yeah, to the first race. And at the first race, I was in pole. And everybody hates me. Who is this stupid with a German name that comes at the first race is in pole? But I make a big mistake. After the practice, I heard a big noise on the engine. But everybody comes to me, you are in pole, fantastic. I forgot. And when I have to start for the race, my mechanic came and said, okay, the engine is something broken. I forgot to tell you. And that was the first lesson. Anyway, I started at the first corner. I was first and then broken everything. But at the second race, I was in pole and first at the end.
Wow.
So I started a small career. I see I can beat everybody there. Was not easy because all the drivers has more experience than me. I was just a cart driver. But anyway, it works.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously was a good start, and I guess despite the car breaking first time, being on pole and then pole again and then winning. I mean, you must have thought to yourself, you must have thought, maybe I'm quite good at this. Maybe I can do something with this, turn it into a career, perhaps.
Yeah, but for me was a pleasure to race. Not I was not thinking to make a career, but I had a lot of accident. Everybody was against me, and I had many accidents. I went to the hospital. At the last race, I was I was winning the championship, but the other one put me out on the straight. So really, I lost championship at last race, and I said, bad people go out. I stop racing, and I don't mind. Was 1 year that was fine,
It was just,
but
yeah.
the following year the championship started without me. I was thinking other things, but my mechanics, I lived, my car was destroyed, start to put up again the cars, and after 2 races they call me, uh, the country of Sant'Agata, everybody put money, you can race with the car, we pay. All a small town have paid for me, and
Wow.
I come back. At the first race, I lost the first two. I was winning again, and I win the championship. Many crashes also there, but
Wow.
and
That's
what
amazing.
was
And
fine.
and I guess, obviously you weren't planning on going racing again, but I mean, we all know that money talks loudest in motorsport. It always has. It's even more so today. So to get a free drive, paid for by some good people, you kind of have to say yes, don't you? um, I've just seen in the comments, Guillermo Rivera. Evening, Guillermo. Sorry, I didn't respond to your message earlier. Sorry. He now I know, like Guillermo, he knows his stuff. He said that you lost to Roberto. Was it Campomenosi? Was it that
Yeah,
you
yeah,
beat him?
yeah,
So he
yeah.
has some good knowledge. Well done. We like that.
English
Um,
people are crazy. They know
yeah,
of Italian races. That's
that's
beautiful.
amazing. That's very cool. I like that. He also said that it'd be interesting to hear the origin of your German name in
Yeah,
Rimini. Now, I believe, was it your father was German and your mother was
yeah,
Italian?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
I've been, I've born in Rimini anyway.
So, and I guess he just moved to the area and met your mum, and that's how
No,
it started,
no,
I
my
guess.
father was here for the Second War.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, was a German soldier, and he met my mother there. And
I
after
see.
the war, it
Yeah,
happens.
everything's good after 1945. Okay, so there you go. That's the origin. Thank you, Guillaume, for the comment. Just very quickly to backtrack, I read somewhere, I don't know if this is true. Did you buy the car, the Formula Italia car, from Riccardo Patrese? Because
No, no, but
someone's written that somewhere.
no, but 1975, I went to see a race in Misano Formula Italia,
Okay.
and I've seen Riccardo Patrese. He went second in this race, and I think, oh, if Riccardo Patrese is so fast, I can be as quick, but faster,
Yeah.
because I know Riccardo from the go kart, and
Okay.
he
Right.
has 2 years less than me, and we sometimes we fight. So
Yeah.
I think could be easy for me to win.
Yeah. I can beat Ricardo easy.
Oh, I want to be better.
That's fantastic. I mean, um, I've got here that first season you came second in the championship. Was it 1977 you won the championship? Um,
77, yes.
did you expect to? I mean, you've just said that you thought you could beat Ricardo and people like him. Did you expect to be so competitive and to essentially win the championship in that year, or were you just looking to just go racing?
No, I was sure to that I have the opportunity to win. Sometimes other team called me and said, Siegfried, please, my driver says that the car is slow. Can you test the car? And I go in the car and I do the best lap. So I know that I was strong at that time. And at the end of the championship, they in Monza, I had a big crash. And last race, I said, okay, I don't want to race anymore because I don't want to be pushed out because I was running for one small team and many other as interest to win. Like if you have seen in go-kart Senna, small team, DAF engine, and other scene, very interest. So
Yes.
I stop racing again. But
Okay.
my friend says, okay, we pay you one race in Formula 3. And I went to European Formula 3 Championship. I never drove the car. I had a puncture in the practice in the batteries, and I start on 22 position, and it
Okay.
was fifth at the end. So everybody was enthusiastic of my race. I
And that was
had
the
the
first
best.
time in the car.
Yes, I had the best time, the best lap with the wet in the warm up in the morning because I
Wow.
like to drive with the wet. So Trivellato have seen me, says, okay, this boy I want for next year, and
Wow.
this started to be for me a opportunity professional because Minardi and Trivellato both want me to run
Wow.
free and was fine. I
Wow.
prefer Trivellato. I had the choice of Trivellato, but it's difficult that the driver can have two opportunity to
Yeah.
run free, no money.
That's amazing. I mean, that wouldn't happen now. I mean, to have two teams offering a free drive,
A
that's
young driver from Formula Italia.
wow,
So
wow. And so that was so obviously you made the step up to Formula 3, and again with it, was the car much different to the Formula Italia car? I can imagine it being quite a big step up in terms of maybe sort of power or just the way the car drove, or was it difficult to start with?
no, Formula 3 was easy. Was a real racing car.
A proper
Formula
one.
Italia is 3 meters. The chassis makes this way. The tires was normal tires. So was really something very strong to drive. Uh, Not professional. Formula 3, everything was easy. You have a gearbox, Uland gearbox, Toyota engine, Chevron B43 car.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Everything was fine to drive.
lovely. That's great.
Tires, slick tires.
Yeah, like proper
First
racing
time.
tires.
Yeah, racing car.
And was it the first car you drove that had like wings and downforce and everything? Was it the first
Yeah,
time?
no, was
Oh,
Formula 3. There's small wings on the back, but no ground effect. So the aerodynamics was very, very poor. The
okay,
car was driving with the suspension and the setting. So you have to work about mechanics.
okay,
You
yeah.
can give a little bit more wing, but for example, I had the best performance in the fast circuit. Why? Because a good engine now. I had always flat the rear wings.
Oh right,
So my car was fast on the straight, but in the corner,
it was a bit.
you have to be careful.
That's fantastic. I forget which driver said it. I think it was Colin McRae, the rally driver. He said that straights are for fast cars, but corners are for fast drivers. And I think you've just said exactly that. If you can be fast in the corners with the car sliding, and then also you're going to do well. And I guess you had the confidence that you could do well in Formula 3 straight away just because of how you, well, just because of how you seem to be, you seem quite confident straight away that you can go and win a race or win a championship in any car.
Yeah, first 3 races in the Italian Championship, I win first, second race, third race.
Wow.
And then I went to Monaco, Monte Carlo.
Yes.
And we were 80 drivers, never seen Monte Carlo, 80 Formula 3. So we have practice and 40 out. And
Wow.
for me, driving Monaco was really incredible because I was the faster with the wet in the morning. And I did not realize that I was faster than others because I see number 53 is faster than everybody. And I was used to run with number 1.
Oh, okay.
And I come back in the pits. Who is this 53 driver that is so fast with the rain? Oh, it's you. Oh, okay, sorry.
That's the perfect answer, isn't it?
Yeah, I was, a driver makes so many mistakes, so many little things that you can do better. Anyway, Monaco for me, there was Formula One, there was Prost, Piquet, De Angelis, Warwick, Fabi, many fast drivers. At the end, I was second behind De Angelis, but De Angelis had made the race the year before, so he knows the track. Because Monaco is difficult if you never. The practice is very short, so you have to learn. It's difficult, and I did a good race that time there.
Yeah.
And
had you raced on like a street circuit before? Or
Monaco?
Yeah.
No.
The first time.
First time in Monaco, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean,
it's difficult because you run in the middle of marciapiedi, walk the place where the people work, and you have to drive there, and no way. And Formula 3 at that time was very fast. Formula 1 is big, so Formula 3 very, very quick.
Yeah, amazing. I've always wondered what it's like the first time you drive through the tunnel in the dark and then you come out into daylight. That must be amazing. That must be very good.
Really, the tunnel, the worst experience I have in a tunnel was in Monza. During a wet race in Formula 3, I see nothing. There was Lammers behind me. And I know there is a tunnel, so I think I have to pass through the tunnel. I have to see the grass, right and left. I see, okay, grass there. I pass the tunnel. That was crazy. Tunnel of Monaco was nothing special, really.
Okay. Wow.
Just a passage from light to dark to light. No, nothing special. Also with Formula 1 is always flat.
Yeah, I guess so. Wow, that's great. I love that. Hang on. Guillermo Ribeiro said De Angelis punted Gaia off at Lowe's. I think I've seen that. Yeah. One of the few dirty maneuvers he did in his career. Yes, I did. I've got that in my notes somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes. De Angelis. Yeah. One of my earliest memories of motorsport was unfortunately when we lost him, which is very, very sad. But that year in Formula 3, you won the championship in your first season. That must have felt fantastic. That must have felt so good at the end of the season. I mean, you've stepped into Formula 3. You've taken on all these drivers, which I'm going to name shortly, and you've beaten them. I mean, and that must have just been a great feeling.
Yes, but the Italian Championship was for me easy. We have no budget to go at the European Championship, but we make 4 races of European Championship. Yes. And on 3 races, I was in front of everybody. So I demonstrate that I can be faster than everybody. Also, if I don't do all championship, and that was good for me. I start thinking, okay, this can be a career. And once I arrived for free practice late, and I lost free practice, and Trivellato said me, Siegfried, why you arrive late? I have a degree, I have a work of psychologist, I have some child to follow, I'm sorry. And he said, Siegfried, or you drive or you do the psychologist. I pay you the a salary, and you stop psychologist.
Oh,
And
right.
from the middle of the season, I was a paid driver. I had 1 million lire each month and one TV. The sponsor makes the TV, and they give me one TV. Big.
Nice. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So obviously, you then quit the job and went racing. And you raced in. You mentioned that you raced in the European Series in 4 races. I forget exactly where you raced, but again, it was a good experience to race different circuits, and you were quick. And I've just got a list actually of the drivers who were in European F4 in that season. There was Nelson Piquet, Derek Warwick, Andrea De Cesaris, Stefan Johansson, Elio De Angelis, Torkild Thuring, Jim Crawford, Jan Lammers, Teo Fabi, Michael Bleekemolen, and Pierre Dieudonné. I mean, there's some good drivers in that grid, wasn't there? It was a very strong European Formula 3 series, wasn't it?
Lammers was fast, but was incorrect. He pushed me out of the straight. So after 2 corners, we had a big crash.
Oh,
because if you push me out on the straight, you don't survive many corners.
Yeah.
I go straight and everybody out. I had a good opinion on Teo Fabi.
Yeah.
He was very, very fast. But a small problem, he makes many mistakes with the gearbox. Okay. So I heard when we were fighting, bang, bang, and the engine. And with De Angelis, I've made only 1 race, and then he went in Formula 1. And Piquet, I saw him at the first race, but he broken the engine. And in Monaco, Nelson, maybe he don't like this circuit.
Okay.
Prost was there, arrived 4th, 22nd in 20 lap. No, 42nd in 20 lap. He was French, so he knows the track. And he has the car of Didier Pironi that win the year before.
Right, okay.
So I was not impressed from this driver. But then Prost,
he went,
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you mentioned Teo Fabi. I mean, he's kind of, I remember him when I was growing up, when he was at Benetton and was he at Tolman? Yeah, Tolman and all those guys. And I always liked him as a racer. He was one of those guys, he doesn't get spoken about very often. When you talk about, say, the 1980s in Formula 1, people talk about Mansell and Prost and Piquet and Senna, Patrese and all these guys. I always thought Teo Fabi needs to be spoken about a bit more. He had
the pole position in Indianapolis.
Yes. Now, now people know who watch these. I'm a massive IndyCar fan. I love IndyCar. I love the Indy 500.
And European drivers going to Indianapolis and win or make a pole, you have Jim Clark, Graham Hill, and you have Zanardi.
Zanardi, yeah.
Not Nigel Mansell.
Yeah, but there's not many.
Many.
I think Teo Fabi, he drove one of my favorite cars, the Porsche powered, was it the Quaker State, the green Indy car? It was perfect. Anyway, back to the back to you. So you won the championship and you thought you could make a career out of this. You moved to Formula 2 in the Chevron car. Now, I've read a few things about this sort of season, and a lot of people seem to think that the car was quite difficult to drive.
Yeah. The problem was the designer of the Chevron was Derek Bennett. he lost his life on a
Oh,
deltaplane
okay. Yeah, yeah.
crash, finish.
Oh dear.
So in Chevron, they have no many had to improve the car,
Sure.
and they had some things from Tony Southgate that for me is a big genius. Just the wings, but the car was not fast. But I had a slower car because I had not the Brian Hart engine, but a BMW, and
Okay.
the BMW is 20 kilos heavier. So the balance of the car was not fantastic. Anyway, I was starting on the back of the grid. The best performance was Nürburgring with the rain,
Right.
fourth, Po with the rain, second, and Vallelunga, second, but many cars go out.
Okay.
So not a big rain. There was a fantastic Bobby Rall, a American driver. He was very fast. First year in Europe, and he was really fast with Chevron, faster than me.
Wow.
But not a lot of experience, many spin, many problems. He did not good result, but he
Yeah.
was very faster.
Yeah. I mean, and obviously he went on to. He's obviously gone on IndyCar and won many races and
Yeah.
won the Indy, and he now runs his own team with David Letterman and all that. And I always wonder, guys like him and Danny Sullivan and people like that, if they had a bit more chance in Formula One, how they would have, how good they would have been. Now, I need to ask you something. I think your first race in F2 was at Silverstone, not far from here. A couple of years ago, I had Eddie Cheever on here for a chat, and he said that he remembers an accident that you two had at Silverstone in the first race. He said that I think it was his first time in a single-seater car or something around Silverstone, and he was looking forward to it. And you two had a crash. I was just wondering if you remember that at all.
No, but he was running with Osella team,
Yeah.
and he had an opportunity to run with Pirelli tires. Is
Okay.
the only car with Pirelli tires, and Pirelli has good tires for the wet.
Right.
So Eddie has a good performance for the wet with the wet.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I really don't remember. So if I don't remember the accident, probably was my mistake. And
Maybe.
maybe.
But Eddie's not here, so we can blame Eddie. We can say it was Eddie. It's fine.
Sorry, Eddie. Sorry.
Lovely. That's lovely. I did see on the results you came ninth. I think it was that your first finish was ninth at Hockenheim on the old circuit, the proper Hockenheim out in the woods. Did you like racing on there? Because I've spoken to a few people who have raced on the old Hockenheim, guys like Derek and Eddie and a few others. And half of them love racing on the old Hockenheim, and half of them hate it. I guess you don't like it.
No, I hate. Really, I remember is the circuit where Jim Clark is flied out.
Yeah, it was
and this is not happy for me, but Monte Carlo I love. Also, if Bandini have died in Monte Carlo.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Hockenheim, chicane, flat corner, and then a small motodrome.
A little, yeah.
Where you drive, but I made a bad race in Formula 2, 1980 with Tolman. I had the engine of Brian Anton.
Oh, okay.
Because he won the championship. So Tolman said, Siegfried, we give you the engine of Anton and we supply with new tires. So at the first lap, I make a spin and I destroy the car. So I started on the back. But really, I make a lot of overtake on the straight. Not a braking, not a corner. I arrived third behind Fabi and Mansell. But it was a stupid race with the engine I had, when they give me the engine, they said, okay, this engine has so much power that you have to improve the gearbox.
Oh,
If not, you go out.
wow.
And it was really, and was fun to run with the engine like this. But
Yeah.
was was a stupid race for me.
It's
I
it's
like I like to pass the other cars in braking, in corners, not on
yeah,
the straight.
not just
Whoa.
driving past. Yeah.
Everybody says, "Oh, Siegfried stohr has a good engine," but it was the engine of Brian Anton
Okay.
because he was not running last races.
Yeah, because
He won the championship,
it was
so they prefer to concentrate on Formula One. So Hockenheim, I hate.
yeah, that's fair. I mean,
I don't
as I
like.
say, it's kind of one of those circuits, as I say, where half the people really enjoyed it and half don't. So, but it's gone. It's gone forever, isn't it? That's it's not going to come back. The full circuit. One thing I do want to talk about though, another German circuit, the Nürburgring. We all know about the Nürburgring. You
Yeah,
said that you raced well and it was in the wet. I think you came fourth. This was obviously out on the Nordschleife, the
yeah,
full
yeah.
circuit. I've asked this to a lot of people who drove in the era and the time that you drove in. What was it like around the Nürburgring? Because even now, it's an incredible circuit. It's so difficult, and it was just so much more dangerous and difficult when you guys were racing on it.
Yeah, it's a terrifying circuit. You arrive there and you enter very smooth. Um, when I arrive there, I do all the circuit by feet, and I take a picture of every corner.
Wow!
Is one 89 right and 85 left. And what I did, I went home. I make a big screen. I take all the pictures on the screen, and during the evening, when I go to 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 sleep, I make a lap of Nürburgring.
Wow!
Imagine, just imagine, because I never drive. But when I arrive at 17 kilometers, I have always a problem of memory. What I did, I opened the light, oh, seven, and I start again from the
Wow!
start. And so when I finish the lap, I can sleep. So when I arrive at Nürburgring, I have an idea.
Yeah.
Now you go internet. At
Yes,
the
understood.
time, you just have to imagine. So, and 1 week before, a driver in Formula 3 died there. So uh, when we race, there was guardrail and then three. No curbs. There was still marciapiede,
Oh,
workman.
with the curve,
So
yeah,
like Niki Lauda had the
at,
crash, and
at
Formula
Nürburgring.
2 is fast like a Formula 1
Wow!
because less power, but a very fast car. So you go up, you go down, you start rain and then snow and then fog and then it's dry. When you finish one lap,
You're exhausted.
really, really, when I go back home, I I ring the bell of my house and I think I'm alive.
That's
I
the
never had this impression on other circuits.
wow.
More safe was really terrifying, Nürburgring. Però bello, terrifying for everybody,
Yes, yes,
also
of
the
course.
other drivers.
Just, I mean, that's amazing. You kind of got home and thought, "Oh, I've made it. I'm here. I'm still here."
Really,
Wow, that's
a
incredible.
strange impression.
Yeah, I think it's a special circuit when it has that effect on you. That's incredible.
And thinking of Nordschleife, you can imagine what was to run on this circuit at time of Rosemeyer, Caracciola, Nuvolari,
Wow, yeah,
Hawthorne, Mike Hawthorne, Peter
yes,
Collins died there.
yes,
Peter
yeah,
Collins with Ferrari.
Yeah.
Was his last race. So
Wow.
other
That's amazing.
times.
That is amazing. I mean, yeah, I kind of wish I could go back in time and watch, watch those guys racing, because it must have been incredible around there. Just to move forward, another circuit I want to talk about was Po, the street circuit at Po. Again, it's a circuit I've seen parts of on holiday. I've not seen any racing there. I spoke with Kenny Atchison, who went on to do sports car and F1. He had a crash there. He broke his ankle and things like that. But he said that he always loved racing there, just because he said it was like Monaco, but a bit faster.
Yeah.
Was it? And I kind of get the feeling that it's a circuit that you would have enjoyed racing.
Po is like Monaco. I agree perfectly. A little bit faster, but also more dangerous, because the first time there, I parked my car against a monument. There was a man with
the big.
I don't know, an important man, a crash against a monument. Everybody had a crash there. And then the race, I had two races in Po, both with rain. And both the rain helped me, and I was two times second. Yes, 1979, 1980 with Tolman. Yeah, I live really. And the second race, really, I have 39 fever.
Oh,
I
wow.
had a fever. I was sick. But anyway, when you are in the car, you forgot everything.
Wow, that's amazing. And you just go and race. That's fantastic. I spoke with Tom Coronel, who's raced the World Touring Cars around there, and he said that he was glad that he had a big car around him. He said he didn't want to do a single seater there; it was a bit crazy.
Yes.
which is fun.
Yeah.
I've got a comment here saying that the statue, the big monument that you hit, was Field Marshal Foch from
Oh,
World War One. I've actually been to where they signed, the end of the First World War in the forest at Compiègne. So I'm aware of Field Marshal Foch. So there you go. He has a statue in Po, and you hit it. Never mind. But it's still there, so it's okay. Just to move forward, you moved to Alan Docking Racing here in the UK. We like Alan Docking Racing. How did that move come around? Was it just the results of that you had the year before?
I really was unemployed at the end of 79. Triolato says I stop, and I have nothing, no sponsor, nothing. And Alan Docking has one Tolman free, because the first two races they ran with another driver, but then the other driver had no money, find no money. I was in touch with them, and they come to Milan, and we make an agreement. Alan Docking and Matt Spitzley.
Okay.
Spitzley is the owner of the team together with Alan Docking. And we agree a price with my friend's sponsor, but really I did not know this person. And we signed with the hand. I said, okay, you want? No, we are happy of your word. I remained but really the sponsor fly away, and I had no money. So one of this person, one was a man of Rome, Siegfried, I pay for everybody. And at the end, this man was disappeared. And the man of Milan says, oh, the men of Rome are crazy. We are Milan, we are more correct. He put 15 millions on the pants,
Yeah.
make a flight to England, and pay for just one races.
Wow.
And I make an agreement with him. I says, okay, if I go Formula One, 50% for you and 50% for me. And he said, okay, I pay 15 millions. And I went to Nürburgring and I found Tolman car there, never seen before. And Rory Byrne, designer, and It was raining. Everybody was bad. After the practice, I was faster than the official Tolmans. And Rory asked me, Siegfried, what do you think about the car? I said, I don't know, but you have a steering too quick. On the straight, I suffer to go very straight. The following race, Rory Bernard changed the steering, the rapport of the steering
Yeah.
on my car, but on all the others. So Rory, I had a big opinion of this man because he listened to the drivers. He understands which driver speaks for an idea and which driver is just I'm fast and the car understand nothing, because at that time there was few information. We don't have telemetry on the car.
Sure.
So they talk with the drivers, which problem you have, this or this or this. And as soon as you speak clear, they understand that you have clear in your mind.
Yeah.
Many drivers, the car is bad. What means bad?
Yeah.
You have to explain me
Yeah.
how to make it better. So many drivers are not have not a good capacity to transfer to the designer the problem of the car. I think in this case I was a good driver.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was fourth with the rain, and I spin at the first lap. I spin in fifth gear on the grass, and I put the fourth, and I was again on the straight. This was I was lucky.
Wow.
And after this, Beta comes a sponsor. Beta tools.
Yes.
And so we have the money for all the season.
Brilliant. That's
But
wow.
I lost the first two races,
Yes.
like in Formula Italia.
Yeah.
Again, the history. And it's difficult to arrive fourth in the championship with two races less from the others.
Yeah.
Anyway, and with the private team, because we were not the official team. But anyway, our Toleman, my car was very good.
Brilliant.
Like
That's
the
great.
others. A little bit different, the tires.
Okay.
Pirelli give 5 set of quick time tires.
Oh yeah. Yes.
For the official, 1 set for us, but was enough. It's normal that the official team has more support from the sponsor.
Of course.
Normal.
Yeah. Of course.
Anyway, I had a fantastic car.
Yeah, that's great. I love that, and it's nice to hear some nice words about Rory Byrne. He's living out in Thailand at the moment.
Yes,
he's living out there now. I had Frank Durney came on here for a chat a few weeks ago from Williams, and he's still good friends with Rory, which is lovely. But yeah, he's on the other side of the world doing all kinds of lovely things, which is good. I want to talk about your win though, because you won at
Pergusa.
Enna Pergusa, wasn't it? The around the lake, which is a great circuit and not one people don't know much about it over here. I spoke with I think it was Gianmaria Bruni who said that he went there when Michael Schumacher was there, and the whole place just was going absolutely crazy because Ferrari and everything. But I think it was either him or Carl Wendlinger said it was very bumpy. It was a real bumpy circuit, and it was quite tricky to drive.
But really, is a historic circuit. I remember that in Pergusa, Jim Clark went there to make races. It's a strange circuit, and also the surface was very slippery because with the temperature, everything was broken. And so it's difficult races. But I make all the race in Pergusa with the temperature of the water. I was in pole, but because I've made the first lap in the morning when it's not so warm. In the morning, first lap, pole. In the race, after few laps, I see the water temperature 100, 110. So I start less revs. 160. I said, okay, the engine will blow up. I have to stop. And then I said, why stopping 160? But the engine sounds good. So I follow up. And then Brian Anton was catching me. And I was pushing 9,000 revs in front of 9.6. And I was not so fast. I said, okay, I broken the engine, but I want to be second because Gabbiani was first. And I pushed Brian spin, and I was second, but Gabbiani broken the engine for a miss gearbox. So I win. But at the end of the race, I go to my team, Alan Docking. I said, what has the engine? And he went on the temperature thing and made talk. Oh no, it's broken the.
Oh.
Okay, you see, that's motor racing.
All of that worrying during the race.
All the races with the temperature, all the race temperature. I tell you, oh no, it's just broken the.
That was
Right. Okay.
Oh well, but you won, and it's okay, and the car was okay, which is good.
Victory. Okay.
Yeah, we take a win, absolutely. So you finished fourth in the championship that year. You said you missed the first two races, and again, I had a quick look at the grid, and you mentioned Brian Henton. There was Mark Shearer, Derek Daly, Eddie Cheever, again, Stephen South, Warwick Farby, Thackwell Mansell, Joe Gartner, Riccardo Paletti, and Arturo Matario. Again, it's another very strong grid, through the season. So nice to have finished fourth, having missed the first two races. One thing I did spot though, you didn't seem to have much luck racing in England. You had retirements, and I think you finished 18th. But I said that you raced at Silverstone and Thruxton and at Donington Park.
No, Donington. No,
Was it
in
not
Donington, I did not race. I just make a test for Tolman.
Okay.
At the end of the championship, I had a good opinion about Tolman team. It was a fantastic team, and Alex Oakridge, he was the team manager, called me and to test their car, and we make a test with Pirelli, and the first time in Tolman. And I remember this time was 79 the test. Sorry, okay. 79. The first time I drive Pirelli, and I give good information. So at the end of 1980, I was sure to run for Tolman team. I was sure because Rory Byrne, Brian Hart, Alex Oakridge knows me as a driver.
Right.
And I said, okay, they take me together with Brian Anton. And I want to run with them also if a new team. And then at the end, they have the sponsor, and they prefer Derek Warwick.
Okay.
And so I had no driving. For chance, I received a telephone call from Arrows. And they said, you want to come for a test? And I went for a test Formula One with the Arrows. It was Warsteiner on the car.
Yes.
At that time. And the test was very good. And they offered me to run with them. Wow. And they asked to Beta if Beta wants, and Beta was happy to join with two Italian drivers. And so I signed for Arrows.
Wow, that must have been so exciting.
I was very happy, really.
Wow.
I remember that they forced me to make an insurance for the life with the Lloyds of London. First time in my life, you should be insured. And nobody in Italy want to insure me. Okay. Just the company of London, Lloyds. Okay, so I've made this. I spend a lot of money for this.
I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just very quick before we get on to F1, did you enjoy racing on the circuits here in England, Thruxton and Silverstone? Because I mean, I spoke with a Belgian driver recently, Gilles Magnus, in the touring cars, and he said, "You English guys, you don't realise how lucky you are. You've got lots and lots of really good circuits here in the UK." And he said they've only got two in Belgium. And I was just wondering what you thought of the English circuits when you raced on them.
I like the idea of English races. What is this idea? You arrive on a Sunday, practice in the morning and race in the afternoon. You spend a few money. In Italy, oh, you arrive on 3 days before and then practice and spend. No. I like the driver that few laps and go fast.
Yes.
Anyway, Thruxton, as you say in English, we said Thruxton, and the English people, Thruxton, Thruxton. That was.
It kind of does sound better when you say it.
Yeah. And the first time I was there, I remember the grass. I don't see the corner because the grass is. I had a bad souvenir of Thruxton. Silverstone was a nice circuit, but really, I never been fast there.
Okay.
But if you ask me why, I don't know. After 40 years, sometimes I see my races and I said, why in Mugello I was on the first row and then I was fifth? And I can never say because the car was bad.
Right.
I cannot say. The car was good. Sometimes the performance of a driver are not what you expect to do. And you don't know why. Maybe on the morning you wake up strange. I don't know.
Yeah.
Silverstone is a very fast circuit. I never lived. I like Monaco. I like Po. I like Mugello. I like also Monza.
Yeah.
That is fast, but Monza, not the Monza of now. Monza of my time has different corners. I like Imola. Many circuit. You have many circuit in England that were during the war airport.
Yes.
And then you have the circuit ready.
Yeah,
So many. Goodwood.
Yes.
I went for a test in Goodwood with Chevron.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I was at Goodwood a few weeks ago.
And
Which was very cool.
you have Brands Hatch. This is a circuit. I never ran there, but I've seen the picture.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I'm so glad you said that because every single person who's come on here for to talk about circuits have said that they love Brands Hatch. It's my favorite. It's I'm right in the middle of Silverstone, Thruxton, and Brands Hatch here, and it's a good place to be. But Brands Hatch is it's a fantastic circuit. I love it. But I guess sometimes I think it happens today, doesn't it? Drivers just for some reason don't do well at a circuit and they don't know why. It just happens all the time, doesn't it? So it is. Okay, right. Formula One, Arrows, and your teammates Riccardo Patrese again. Riccardo is there. And I guess that was a big help for you because he's been in Formula One for a few years. At the start of the season, though, there was lots of problems, with like FISA and FOCA and all the stuff that was going on. Did that affect your pre-season testing and things like that? Did it? Because I think I think the big argument that was going on only stopped. Was it like 2 weeks before the season started? I think.
My first race, I make only one test, half a day, finished, no test. And I arrive in South Africa. I cannot know the track, but it's very simple track. I asked to my teammate the gears, and he tell me one wrong. So I realized I cannot ask anything to portrays anything. So from that moment, we never had a briefing together.
Okay.
He had his briefing in the camper, and I have my suite in the truck,
Okay.
and finish all the year. Anyway, at the first lap, it was raining. We were both with slick tires, and I see Ricardo at the hairpin, and I pass him, and I make 5 or 6 laps in front of him at my first race.
Wow.
And this was impressive from the team manager. And the engine broken, but the chief mechanic at the end comes to me and says, look the revs. You never passed 10.2, and this engine can go to 10.8.
Oh,
So
right.
Siegfried, compliment. Is not you to have broken the engine. It was an engine of 1974. So
Oh, wow.
very old engine.
7 years.
Okay. And after the race, the team manager, Jackie Oliver, came to me and said, Siegfried, you have a future in Formula One, but you have 3 problems. Cut your, your, I had long hair. Cut your hair. Don't come with, I had the jeans cut with flowers like an hippie. Okay. Put away these jeans and don't come with your helmet in plastic bags. I arrived at the circuit with 2 plastic bags with the helmet. Buy a coffee, insomma, compra una valigia, buy something to put the helmet.
Bag. Yeah.
You seem a desperate man with no money. I cut my hair, I buy a plastic bag very big for my shoes, helmet, and I put away my jeans. But this not helps me a lot because in Long Beach, I did not make one run. The engine blew up in the pits.
Right.
And so with no laps, no qualifying. So that was the first thing I understand that is so difficult. But it must say, I make a big mistake. In the practice, I was faster than Nelson Piquet.
Mm.
I don't realize why, but I was catching Nelson. He breaks and I spin not to hit him.
Okay.
Later, I think, okay, maybe Nelson was testing with full petrol. And
Right.
so the
Heavy.
car is more, but I was a young driver, no experience. So I make this mistake and then I make another. You don't have to broken the car in the free practice. That's very bad because you have trouble in the official practice then.
Right. Gotcha. Just want to talk about the circuit though at Long Beach. As I said earlier, we had Mario Andretti on here, and I think he likes it because he won there. The only American to win in America and things like that. Obviously, it's slightly different to the circuit the IndyCar guys use today. The problems that you had to one side. What did you think of the Long Beach circuit? Because there's the right-hander down the hill left, and
I like a lot.
It just looked, and then the
Yeah.
big fast right-hander. It just looked like a fantastic circuit.
Yeah, the problem is that when you start on Friday for free practice, the track is dirty. And so the more you go and the more the track's clean. But was really, I lost one practice because it blew up the things for the fire. So I was completely white.
The extinguisher went.
Yeah. So I lost a lot. But I was 18th on Friday. And I had the same time of Nigel Mansell. And Nigel Mansell, the first time in Long Beach. So I think, okay, other drivers like Tambay knows this circuit. And on Friday, I have to learn the circuit. And I was quite fast. But on Saturday, I know I did not make one lap. And so I was out because the circuit becomes more clean. And
Yeah.
so this was the first problem that I realized that Formula One is difficult. If you don't have anything, uh, it's difficult. Anyway, my engine was a 480 horsepower.
Oof,
And
wow. Okay.
yes, Riccardo Patrese has two new engine, 520.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it's
Big.
40 horsepower difference, but it's not so, uh, is important, but not make a big difference.
Right.
The good difference is the handling of the car, but the main difference, if you don't have tires, if you have to run with the tires of the race before and
Oh,
the other driver has new tires, this is difficult.
yeah.
The engine 40 horsepower less in Monaco is the same. You cannot push
Yeah.
and with the wet is the same. You never arrive to put all the horsepower
Yeah.
on the
Sure.
on the ground.
Sure. Sure. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, because you kind of look at the result of the qualifying for Long Beach, and it says, "Oh, Ricardo was on pole, and you didn't qualify." It's very unfair because, as you said, there was just a lot of different things. Okay, it was the same car, but there was a lot of very different stuff going on in there. Um, Obviously, you didn't qualify, unfortunately. But the next race in Rio, in Brazil, a circuit I used to love. It's one that I always think about when I first started watching Formula One, and the Brazilian Grand Prix was in Rio at like Jacopagua, and I just loved it. It just looked absolutely fantastic. Completely different to Long Beach, completely different. How did you find driving around there? Because I guess it was hot as well and
No,
bumpy.
really, I remember that they put me a little with water on the Formula One car. And at the first braking, something from up, so I take off. But no, I never suffered the weather
Okay.
too warm. In Rio, I was not fast. I was slow in practice, but it was raining, and the team come in South Africa. I make the choice of the tires. Is the driver that has, okay, I want the slick or I want the rain. In Rio, comes to me the team, you have to race with the slick tires. I said, but it's raining. Yes, but we have one car with slick and one car with rain tires, and you have to start with rain. There was just two drivers with slick, Piquet and me.
Wow.
And out of the track both. So the race was terrifying for me.
Mm. I
Then
mean,
Argentina was a good race, not fantastic. I really realized that I can be killed by Argentinian fans because I don't see Carlos Reutemann. He was winning and
right.
he tried to pass me and I closed him because no blue flags. And
Oh,
so
right.
all the people was like, and then I saw him, I can pass. But anyway, at
Wow.
that time, if you were overheat, you have to, you need the blue flag, but was not like now. Now you break, and now he have to pass
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
You cannot close, but anyway, see, he's faster. He must pass.
Yeah.
Now Formula One is always with radio. You
Yeah.
have one behind. You see that
You
they
have to
put
move.
on side and they brake. Is maybe too much. Maybe
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. I agree with that. I mean, as you say, you kind of don't get in their way, but you still have to make sure that they have to pass you rather
Yeah.
than let them go.
But at that time, you can pass. With the Formula One of today, to pass is very difficult. And
Yeah.
so the world changes.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess they need to get out the way, I suppose. But just on Argentina, you qualified. You started 19th, and it was your first finish in Formula One. Was it ninth? I think. just behind Mario Andretti, which is, pretty cool. It's a pretty good place, it's a pretty good place to be. Just quickly though, I want to touch on the race in Brazil quickly. There was an incident right at the start, wasn't there, with the crash on the start line and stuff, which
Yeah,
you kind of got
Brazil.
caught up with. You must have been so frustrated though, the start of your first race and your first championship race, and that happens in front of you. That kind of thing must be very annoying.
I realized that when I arrived in South Africa, my first Grand Prix, past my teammate that had 4-year experience, I said, okay, Formula One is like Formula 3, Formula Italia. At the first race, I can be so fast. So I have a future. And I think I stay no more than 3 years in Formula One. Because anyway, something for me was not exciting.
Okay.
All the ambience, I was always alone. All the team went to restaurant, to some place. I just once go out with mechanics call me in Brazil. Siegfried comes out with us, and they take me in a strange place, like a night with some girls naked or something like this. And mechanics likes to drink beer, and these the only ones that I went always to sleep. I don't want the ambience, Formula One. But I realized that it's difficult to run with a team that you are really out of the team.
Sure.
All the evenings they went out with the other driver, with the sponsor, and they go out in Argentina and Brazil and talk and this and this and this. And I was always alone in the hotel. So once Pironi saw me eating alone and come to eat with me and Villeneuve. And so we start becoming friends because I had a French wife, Swiss French wife, and I speak good French. So we start talking in French together. So Gilles and Didier were the first person that gives me a little bit of friendship in Formula One.
That's lovely.
With the others, I was
yeah.
Ciao, no ciao. I went in my pits, I do my job, but it's difficult to run with a team that did not expect a lot from you.
Yeah.
And you are there and the other one is there. Okay, I am a second driver. That's not normal. But we can discuss together also. We can talk about. I was used to talk with Rory. Also, if Rory Byrne, also if I were a private team, but Rory wants to know, and me and Brian Anton together make some briefing. With Patrese, never.
Wow, it's just strange the way different teams work. So you're saying about going out in Brazil and Argentina, things like that. There was a question earlier from Mark Bowman on YouTube. Evening, Mark. Obviously, you weren't a big fan of going out and the drinking and all that kind of side of F1, which happened at the time. We all know that happened. Yeah. Mark said, "Do you think Formula One still has that kind of the glamour and the friendships of the past, where drivers would race and then go out afterwards? I mean, because obviously drivers from different teams would go out with each other and have a party and do all that kind of thing. They can't do that these days, can they? They can't do that today.
No, really, I'm not interested of all the Formula One circuit. I was interested the car, driving and go fast. And in the evening, I go to bed and I put something on the eyes to relax the eyes and listen the music of Bob Dylan. That was all.
Yeah.
And then I went to races, but I never do a test. Formula One at the time was not so rich, and no test, no driving. I remember a good person of my team is Alan Rees.
Okay.
Alan Rees was a driver in that time, like Oliver also. But just one thing to explain. In South Africa, the wife of Alan Rees has 3 chronometers, three, and they take the lap of everybody of the race.
Wow.
That's incredible. The
Wow.
capacity of this person with
Yeah.
few possibility economics, but one girl, 3 chronometers, and they make the lap timer for all the team. And
That's
that
amazing.
was Formula One at that time.
That's
So
amazing. Wow. That's very cool. I like that. It's just a completely different time now, isn't it? It's all digital and yeah, completely different. Okay, just to move on to the obvious event of 1981. I don't really want to talk about it too much because it was an awful weekend. Was at Zolder, and of course you were right in the middle of it. Obviously, there was the accident. There was the incident on Friday with what was it Giovanni Amadeo, wasn't it, from Osella, who because the pits at Zolder at the time, they were very narrow, weren't they? They were, and there was a lot. And I read somewhere there was lots of people in the pits who shouldn't have been there. They weren't there for the race. It was just full of people. It was too narrow. It was too busy, and there was unfortunately I believe he fell off the pit wall and he was hit by Carlos Reutemann, wasn't he? And he sadly died 2 days later. I mean, did you know at the time that it was a very serious incident that had happened?
yes, everybody knows Giovanni Amadeo was 17 years old. Really,
Wow.
I don't think that Osella was a good team. I know Osella.
Yeah, they kind of never
I think it was an Italian team.
Yeah.
I don't have a good opinion of them, but a young boy, 17 years old, working in a pit lane, for me is something very strong, very strange.
Yeah. Yeah.
You should never allow this. Anyway, the young boy died, and this moved everything. Another thing I have to remain about Zolder. In the pits, 2 toilets for mechanics, one woman and one for men. So the problem of mechanics is they cannot lose a lot of time to do PP.
Yes.
Is a very strange situation.
Wow.
Anyway, Bernie has the opportunity to run there, and he has his good arguments. But anyway, is not a place for Formula One. But the track I like a lot. Zolder was the different when you have a long corner, third or fourth gear. You enter the corner. If the car stays, you go. If the car don't stay, you have to wait.
You come back.
In Zolder, you have a lot of corners that are tum-tum.
Right.
And in these corners, 90 degrees, the driver can do something more because it's so quick and it's so easy to make mistake. So I like a lot. I had the 8th time in Zolder, but I was there without the ground effect.
Okay.
Because in Imola, my car, we have studied a system that the car was in the pits when the marshal comes to me to take the distance, and when you go on the straight, the car go down. But my car go too much down, and I broken everything in Imola, so I cannot do one lap also there. And so in Zolder, I said, take off all the system. I run without the system of downforce. That's give you the idea that at that time, the downforce under the car was so few.
Right.
So few. Anyway, I make 13 time, but I broken the engine after 3 laps.
Ah, okay.
And on the 4th lap, I was faster, but I cannot finish. Anyway, that was the moment I was more fast
Yeah.
with my engine, with my tires, with everything, but on this special track.
Yeah, sure. It's just on at Zolder. So the weekend, obviously, it started badly. Then it went quite well for you in qualifying and things like that. The race. I mean, we all. Well, if people haven't seen the start of the race, I mean, you can watch it if you like. I've seen it a couple of times. It's not very good, but it was just chaotic, wasn't it? Because you did the warm up lap, and then Nelson missed his spot on the grid, didn't he? And he went round again, and then Ricardo stalled and was waving for a long time, wasn't he? He was waving for a long time. And were you surprised that they started the race, given that Nelson had only just come back through the grid? Ricardo was waving. I mean, watching it as a fan from the outside, it's crazy that they started the race.
Yeah, but I was there, and I have to remember that only 12 drivers, mechanics stopped the start.
Yes.
Remember Giovanni Amodeo, and
Yes.
for condition to work not safe.
Yeah, it was a protest.
Bernie, Colin, and Ken Tyrrell. They were very angry to see this. 12 drivers jumped down to the cars.
Yes.
And to joint mechanics. We are on the same boat.
Yeah, it was a protest, wasn't it?
12 drivers stay in the car because Ken Tyrrell says to Michele Alboreto, if you jump down to the car, you never drive my car anymore. So Michele stay there.
Right.
What happened? When finish the strike of mechanics, we go back to the car. And I was very excited because I see something was going wrong. And Mario Andretti see me and make me a laugh on the face, like to say, you are a young driver, stay quiet, that everything will good. But Mario walk, I was nervous for this because other drivers were ready to start. So I jump in the car, but Bernie makes start Piquet. Go! I remember you see on the field, go 3 times, and Nelson make a lap. So when we started, we arrived on the straight, and Nelson arrived before. So they make to Nelson another lap. So we have to wait, and the temperature of the engine. So many drivers do this.
Yeah, because it's overheating.
Me too, overheating. Okay. But Patrese had his chief mechanics, Dave Lackett, that says, okay, they will never go to the start.
Yeah.
Blow, stop the engine. And Patrese stopped the engine. But they go the start, and the way I take the ends in and I go on. And I had a good start, and Rosberg had a bad start, and I has to pass him.
Yeah.
He go on the left, I pass on the right. And I found Dave Lackett that tried to make start the car of Ricardo. And I see really Dave, I brake, and I was in first gear. So the speed was about 80 kilometers. And I touched the car of Patrese and I hit Dave. Yeah. And I jumped down to the car and I see Dave with the blood on the ears and some movement that I think is death.
Is like a brain injury.
Because he's moved and was terrible. And nobody stopped the race. And full up, the ambulance, the people there, and the cars.
And there's people waving and
just Pironi stopped the race.
Yes, because he slowed.
Pironi brake and stopped the race, so all the cars has to stop. And I went to Pironi and to Gilles to says I was saying a bad word in front of the organization, and Gilles told me, Siegfried, uh, be careful of what you are saying.
Right.
He was very cold, and I was excited. I was you can see a driver that had a death accident, but a mechanics no.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
impossible. A mechanics is a mechanics.
Yeah.
In his life, there is not the risk of the life.
Yeah.
The driver has the risk. The
Yes.
mechanics, no.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. I think that's what perhaps made it so shocking for people who saw it. I mean, okay, with all respect to Dave Luckett, who sadly passed away a few years ago.
I sorry. I
No.
I make is in this year. I make something in theater about the mechanics. I make in a theater a spettacolo. We said,
Yeah, a
yeah,
show, but yeah.
a
Yeah.
show on
Wow.
mechanics. And for this show, I call Dave Lackett. I searched for him on Facebook, and I saw that he missed 1 year before, and
Yeah.
that was
Oh,
very sad because after Formula One, I never be in touch with anybody anymore. I
oh,
closed for 10 years and I forgot everybody.
wow.
Uh, it was too bad for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I mean,
so I realized that Dave was Mr. and he was young.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a real shame.
He has a nice career, I've seen.
Yeah, he went on. He went on. He was at Simtech. He was a lot
But,
of few
but
different
I
teams.
saw this 2 years ago.
Oh,
Too
that's a
late.
shame. Yeah, that's a shame. But obviously, we saw obviously the initial shock for you. You know, you can when the accident happened, you were in the car. You saw your hands on your head, and I can only imagine what. Well, no, I can't imagine what you must have been thinking at the time. Because anyone who's seen the footage could see how upset you were. I mean, naturally, you would be very upset by that. I mean, did and again, I've read various things about the aftermath and what happened afterwards. Did it affect your confidence racing, or did it affect your mind and the way you approach things? Even though it absolutely was not your fault, there was nothing you could do
Yeah.
in the incident. But did it affect you?
Eh, After 35 years of my career Formula One, I realized I write some books and I
Yeah,
go on internet to see something, and I found um, in English things that they said, "Oh, Siegfried have never been the same after
yeah,
this." No, the
good.
following race was Monaco. I
Yes,
Yeah, Monaco. I was 14th with the clutch that did not work. I make two bang bang for the problem of the clutch 14 times. So Monaco was for me my best qualifying. No, no. Uh, you forgot these things when you
yeah,
are in the car. You jump in the car, you forgot everything. If you jump in the car and you think your cat, your wife, your children, your mechanics, no, no. You
yeah,
can have all the problem when you switch on the engine. You are there and there is nothing else.
yeah. I mean, I am so glad to hear that because again, there's a comment saying from our friend like Guillaume Ribeiro. He said that he's read everywhere the same thing, that you weren't the same afterwards and all that. And I'm so glad that you've said that that wasn't the case. It's kind of put that kind of myth to bed, which is good. Because once as you say, once you're racing, that's it. Um, just to sort of wrap up the season, I mean, you had some, you had some good results. You came 12th at Hockenheim, and you ran well at the Österreich Ring. A fantastic circuit, but the car overheated, and um, but it was Monza, wasn't it? Was your last Grand Prix
Yeah,
weekend, wasn't
yeah.
it? What you had a heavy crash, didn't you? In
Really,
practice
I
qualifying?
remember many things, but I don't remember this crash.
Okay.
I can also say that my teammate was 18th on the
Right.
grid. 18th.
Wow.
The pole position in Long Beach, 18th. That means that the car never improved. They've taken a new gearbox, more narrow, only for Patrese and for the spare car, not for me naturally, but the team was going down and the
Yes.
speed of the car, and Patrese 18th, I was out. But really, I was in pole with Formula 2 the year before, 141, and with Formula 1, 139, 2 seconds faster is impossible. The driver was the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and Formula 2 was fast, but on the straight, Formula 1, 200 horsepower more. And really, I had a lot of problem. One thing that I had, I understand many things after. Before Monza, I received a telephone call from Dave Wassi, was the designer of the arrows.
I think yes.
They lost Tony Southgate, and Dave was the chief engineer. And they told me, what about the car of Zandvoort? I said, Zandvoort, the car was good. Okay, so we leave the same thing in setting in Monza? I said, okay. I realized 30 years later, Zandvoort, you need
It's,
a stiff car because you go up and down.
yeah.
Monza, you have the chicane. When you go out the chicane, the car must do this to have traction.
The power. Yeah.
I go out the chicane, I have no. Or at that moment, with the team was finished in Hockenheim, they tried to put Jochen Mass in my car, to put him at because I had an accident in bicycle before Hockenheim.
Okay.
I arrived Hockenheim with the hand.
Oh,
Okay, they said, okay, we push Siegfried. And the beta says, okay, if Siegfried cannot drive, send me a certificate. But they have no certificate.
right.
But Jochen Mass was
He's a,
big, and he cannot enter in my arrows. So I was running Hockenheim. Oh, really? The last few races is like to race with another team. My
right.
head was, I entered the car, I was a taxi driver.
Right.
Enter the car on Friday, drive, and on Sunday,
Wow.
we have a discussion. Also, they have to give me some money at the end of Monza. Oliver was, you want to not give me for fortune. It was the team manager, Daniele Audetto, and Saverio Borelli of sponsor said, no, you have to pay Siegfried and pay and finish.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
and because I had an agreement only till Monza. And
okay.
so the other races in the States, Jacques Villeneuve take my place.
Right.
And after two race very bad, he was really slow,
Yeah.
really, on the circuit that he knows. Gilles called me, Siegfried, you are no more my friend. And I said, Gilles, what I did? You have to call me and to tell that your car is so slow. You destroy the career of my brother. Gilles was like this.
Wow.
Crazy. I think I don't answer to Gilles because I will have answer. Okay, I call you. Please not make your brother to my place. What do you think? That I want to race on this car.
Yeah.
Gilles was this way. He
Wow.
was a nice person, very determined. We are no more friend. I would think we were not so friend, but anyway,
Yeah.
anyway, if you think so,
Well, that wow.
and that was my finish of my career.
And that was it. That was it. I
Monza.
mean, saying it just, I mean, you touched on the two guys there. We all know about Didier Pironi and Gilles Villeneuve. It's just very sad what happened to both of them, wasn't it? I mean, 1982, the following year, it was obviously, we lost Gilles at Zolder, and then obviously Didier's accident at Hockenheim, and I think those two names, I think to Formula One fans, and obviously with the film that came out recently, which I think was a bit unfair, but just two names that we all associate with kind of sadness, which is a shame, isn't it? Because they were obviously two great drivers.
Yeah, all this tragedy comes from Imola, 1982.
Yes,
I was there in Rai Television, and they said, "Oh yes, I was with Poltronieri," and they said, "Okay, Gilles and Pironi makes something for the people." No, I said, they are running really hard, and I was Piccinini was in the pit, and Piccinini has to say, okay, Gilles first and Pironi second, because Gilles win Jody Scheckter in 1979. In that moment, Gilles was in first position. There was no way to do a battle. And they were also friends, and they discussed before the race. At the end of the race, the shame of Gilles was speaking a lot, and he decided to go out of Ferrari the following year. But the thing, Pironi, I think a driver can make this mistake. But Enzo Ferrari, when Gilles go to Maranello and says, what's happened? Ferrari discussion, and at the end Ferrari says, Gilles, who win the race? A Ferrari. For me is enough. Wow. And that was the finish of the relationship with Enzo Ferrari and Gilles Villeneuve.
I think, especially because, as you say, Villeneuve had let Scheckter win previously, and 82 was maybe his time for Pironi to let Gilles win, and then Enzo just went, no. Wow.
Ferrari has a car so fast that Tambay at the middle of the season start on the car and can win the championship. Everybody can win the championship with this car.
Yeah.
And Tambay that was sick for the arms.
Yes.
Anyway, was a bad thing. And when Gilles died, Ferrari don't take to a new driver. Went to run just with Pironi, and Pironi had a crash. All the history is that the girl of Pironi, when Pironi dies in motoscafo.
Yes, in the boat here in England. Yeah,
she was pregnant with two boys, and when she had the boys, has the name Gilles and Didier. That's the history.
Yeah, which is lovely, isn't it? It is lovely, and I believe one of them is now at Mercedes. I think he's doing something with Mercedes. Very, very sad. But no, thank you for telling us that. That was good. Interesting. So you finished racing. Did you ever want to go back racing once you finished with ROs? Because you did a bit in the touring cars. 7 years later, the Italian touring cars. But did you not want?
Now, when you finish racing Formula One, I have the opportunity to run with Ferrari Formula 2 engine with Minardi. I make a test 3 days after the death of Gilles. And I meet Enzo Ferrari there with Barilla. I was very fast. And so I had to do a race before, but Barilla and Nannini says, okay, we don't want Siegfried Stohr on our spare car. And so my career finished.
Wow.
Yeah. And later I have no opportunity, and I don't want any more opportunity. For me, it was finished. My career in racing, from this evening, has stopped for 3 times. Formula Italia stopped, and then Formula 2 stops, and then Formula 1 really finished. I
Yeah.
was in Formula 1. I feel myself at the end like a wood worker
Oh yeah.
without wood.
Oh, you're right.
No wood. I have my hands. I can do only this, and I have no steering, and that was bad for me for many years. And I realized in the time later. Anyway, I was in Formula One. I was very lucky to arrive because my career was so strange, up and down, that I had to be happy anyway.
That's a great way to look at it. I love that. And you also drove, in my opinion, one of the best looking cars at the time. It just looked fantastic with the orange and the white and the
Yeah, very nice.
Ragno and the tile, the ceramic thing. Yeah, it was brilliant. Fantastic looking car. I loved it. That was great. So just quickly, because we've been talking for a long time. Goodness me. And it's getting late there. I know that. Just quickly, you set up your like driving and racing school. I'm not going to try and pronounce it because I won't say it right. You can say it better than I can. Was that something you always wanted to do? Set up something to do with driving and racing and
No, I really want to go back to my career of psychologist.
okay.
Yes, because I was very involved in this work. But after Formula One, I was very depressed, and I think start with something easy. I have some cars from BMW, and I
Mm.
start this this school. I think, but really was a very slow. I was mechanics of the cars. I washed the car. My mother was on the telephone. Was really
You know
something
everything.
very poor. And then this in the years start growing up, and in 40 years we become the official school of BMW of Italy, and
Wow. That's great.
we have a lot of we do 3,000 customers every years, and
Wow.
that's a lot of job, and a lot of person are happy to have learned to drive in a safe way,
Yeah.
because 99% we do safety,
Yeah.
1% we do racing. But safety is safety with the normal car, also with the electric car, but also safety with the BMW M4. That's very, very exciting
Yeah.
to go
Wow.
fast on a circuit, fast and safe.
Yeah. Which is obviously how
Fine.
everyone has to go racing, don't they? You want to be fast and
Okay.
safe. Absolutely. And I said that you do trucks and you do lorries and sports cars and everything, motorbikes and everything. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd look at the website. It's fantastic. And you're based at one of to me one of the best circuits in the world. You're based at like Misano, uh, named after like Marco Simoncelli. We were very sad what happened to him, but I haven't been to Misano, but I will go one day because it looks fantastic. Because I'm a big fan of like Valentino Rossi, and that's his circuit. So I want to, yeah. It must be a great place to go to work.
It's very safe. It's a technical circuit. It's not so impressive like Mugello or Imola, but it's more a lot technical and safe for us,
Yeah, which is
because sometimes we go out and it's good to go outside, but not to reverse the car.
yes. You can
Anyway,
you can go wide but not over.
yeah, because there is no sand, and sometimes when Misano was different, when you go out, you touch, and
Yeah, yeah. Which is good. Which is good. That it's been made safely. I did see quickly though. One of the instructors you had once, apparently, I think this is right, was Alex Zanardi. He was there, wasn't he?
yeah,
We just have to talk about him very quickly because he is one of the most amazing people on the planet, not just in motorsport. I mean, with what happened to him in IndyCar and with his legs, and then going to the Olympics and winning the hand cycling, and then he's had another accident where and he just keeps coming back. He's just an incredible guy, isn't he? He's amazing.
Yeah, I call him. I read on a journal, Italian newspaper, an interview of Zanardi. He was running in Lotus, but he was pushed out of Formula One, and I see my career. I understand that he was suffering. He was without a drive. So I call him, come to us. And he called my house and we have a talk. He likes me. And I told him, okay, come to work with us. The first day, after 1 hour, they call me, Zanardi wants to go home. What's happened? I jump with my motorcycle on the track in Misano. Zanardi was there. Siegfried, I don't know what to say to the driver because he was instructor on the car. I have no capacity. Alex, slow down. You will learn in a few hours. And after 1 day, so he is. I appreciate a lot that he has the capacity to understand that he has not this work on the hand. He was a driver, but if you put the driver on the other seat, it's not the same. And that was good. And he was also a man of team with the other drivers. And the first time he win in the States, on the straight, he write on this book, my thing was on the family, but also to Siegfried and all the boys of Misano. And I think this is a person that if you help him, he remember.
Yeah.
Other person you help and they forgot. And I appreciate a lot this kind of humanity of Alessandro.
Yeah, that's exactly the way people should be, isn't it? You don't forget people on the way through. Right, very, very quickly, because it's nearly 2 hours, and I know it's getting late there. And I don't.
It's my English that is bad.
No, it's absolutely fine. It's much better than my Italian. Don't worry. I can basically name football teams and types of car. That's all I can do. But very quickly, we haven't had, apart from Antonio Giovinazzi, we haven't had an Italian racer in Formula One at the very top for a while. I mean, we went through a phase where you guys were almost half of the grid in Formula One, and it was great. You had, even going back, we've had, we've had like Paletti and Giacomelli and Patrese, De Cesaris, Nannini, and De Angelis, Alboreto, Capelli, Modena, Fabi, Martini, Trulli, Zanardi, Alex Caffey, good friend of mine now. We like Alex. Alex is a good guy, running a team in Euro NASCAR. We've got like Fisichella and all these other guys. We haven't had a real top Italian F1 driver for a while. Do you know why that might be? I mean, it seems strange.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's because you guys are good on bikes as well. So
I can say that in my time, many Italian drivers, because many Italian sponsor on Formula One, that helps.
Olivetti
that helps because Bita, Ragno, Candy, and other sponsor, and many for Rosella. Denim was an Italian. It's a big company, but the Italian part, and so that helps. Now, really, I don't know why, but anyway, the important is to see fast driver driving well and have good races.
Yeah,
Italian or not Italians, for me is the same.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where they're from. If they're good drivers, we want to see them. And it's good that F1 is a bit more competitive in the last few races, which is good with McLaren and all the drivers, which is good. Okay, right. We're going to just do some very fun little questions that I always do at the end. I love a simple crash helmet design. Yours was great, red and white. And where did it come from? Where did the design for your helmet come from?
Um, when I have my first race in go-kart, I buy a helmet and I see the helmet was white. And they said, okay, Sunday I have a race. I cannot go with the white helmet. And I think to copy the helmet of Lorenzo Bandini.
Ah, okay.
And Bandini has a red part.
Yeah.
And I don't see the same because I make similar, but I change the color, maybe to change also the destiny of the
Ah,
driver.
yes.
And
Wow.
the second helmet, it was the helmet of Jarno Saarinen,
Ah, okay. Yeah, yeah.
a motorcycle driver. He died in Monza in
Yes.
73 in Curvone with Renzo Pasolini. And he was a very fine driver, mechanics driver with a girl behind, really a good. And I like the driver that they go and they go fast, not the driver that need to drive a lot to do a performance. So
Yeah.
Jarno, I love Jarno, and I take the same design, but I change the color because
Wow.
the destiny of Jarno was said like the destiny of Bandini. And I was happy. I'm here anyway.
Yeah. That's cool. I love that. Absolutely love that. I was just seeing Andrew Bishop has said that Gabriele Mini and Kimi Antonelli, of course, are coming up fast. So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, yeah. He's just said the new Italian stars are coming. Let's hope so. Absolutely. Um, okay. Do you have a favorite car, racing car that you've ever driven?
Maybe Chevron B43
Okay.
Formula 3 was a simple car. You have to change a few things and was very fast in some circuit. Also, if the aerodynamics was not perfect, was a good car for me.
Yeah.
I loved. And these cars is racing also now in Monte Carlo. I've seen a
Oh
story
yes, in the historic.
with
Yeah.
my name on. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. I love that. Okay. Did you have a favorite circuit that you used to drive? I mean, I think we know that you like Monaco. We
Monaco and the Nürburgring, but Nürburgring Nordschleife, not
the
Nürburgring today.
not the small one. Yeah.
I've been there, but
Yeah, it's just quickly on Monaco. The circuit is. I think the circuit is brilliant. It always has been. Formula One cars are too big for the circuit at the moment. Anyone who says that Monaco shouldn't be on the calendar, I think is wrong. F1 needs Monaco, but they need to make the cars smaller. That's what I think, anyway.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think if Formula 2, I think Formula 3 can be quite fast. And
Yeah.
Formula 1 is big, but also very long.
Too long. Yeah.
Very long. And but anyway, Monaco is the history of Formula One, and I like history. And also, if
Yes.
it's impossible to overtake, they should find something, maybe two, three pit stop. Today, the Formula One is this one.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have this, and we can arrange something maybe for Monaco different with tires,
Yeah. Maybe.
with brakes also, because with the brakes we have today, it's difficult to overtake in braking in Monza.
Yeah.
You imagine in Monaco.
Goodness, yeah,
Impossible.
crazy. But yeah, everyone's in the comments. People are saying that the cars are too big. And there's a great comment here saying that Formula E, Formula Two, the Porsche Carrera Cup, the racing around Monaco is always good in those. It's only Formula One where there's a problem. So that tells you what you need to know. Okay, final question, and it's a horrible one, and I ask it to everyone. You've driven against and with some amazing drivers through your career. Obviously, we've mentioned the guys that you raced. Guys like Mark Schurer and Henton and Warwick and Daly, and you raced against Johnny Cecotto and Cheever and Patrese and Jarier, Reutemann and Jacques Lafitte and Tom Bay, Mansell, Jones, PK, DeAngelis, Rosberg, Watson, Villeneuve, Andretti. I mean, some amazing guys that you've raced against. are there any that stand out in your mind as not being better, but just maybe just a bit special or something that made them different?
Once someone, I was a driver that I never make test, just to drive the races. So I had a special training in with gymnastic, with pesi, this and this, running for the. And once someone asked to Mario Andretti, what do you do for your body to be prepared for the racing? I run every Sunday. And this is the answer of Mario. And really, he was a strange driver because he can run Formula One, sports car, go to Indy, and everywhere. And
And
that
he
is
did
very
NASCAR.
nice.
He did the
Yes,
dirt racing as well. And
everything. He win a world champion with Lotus. Okay, he make a pole with Ferrari. Arriving from the States, starts on Ferrari. He was in pole in Monza. He's a driver of other times, of all times. So I appreciate this of this. The other drivers, I can talk about the driver only if I had some fight with this
yes,
driver. And
yes,
I remember Lambers was not correct. I don't like when someone like our Schumacher or our Verstappen. I don't like. Anyway, I don't open the door. You have to pass. But on the straight, I cannot go right and left.
yeah,
I don't like. And Fabi, for me, was a very fast driver. He had only one problem in fight for me was too emotive and make
right,
mistakes.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
but other drivers, Mansell, I've seen once, but he was there, I was here. And in Formula One, you cannot have the idea. You look the others, you look the time, and you make yourself an idea. But if you have never crossed the rims,
yeah.
you can never talk.
No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. But I do love that you mentioned Mario because Mario is incredible, and again, Teo Fabi, excellent. We love that. That's great. Well, it's been 2 hours and it's been absolutely brilliant. It doesn't feel like it's been 2 hours. And I know it's getting late. So, firstly, guys, in the comments, I hope we've covered everything. Thank you for all your comments and questions and for your support. It's always much appreciated. But the biggest thanks, of course, go to you, Siegfried. Thank you so much for coming on and having a chat. I've absolutely loved it, and it's been great speaking with you. Thank you very much.
And the salutation of for all British motorsport. The first time I remember of England when I arrived there is a paper where they say, Siegfried, you have to sign. What is written? Motorsport is dangerous. That's all.
Yep,
Fine.
that sums it up. We love it. That's fantastic. Again, thank you so much. It's been great speaking with you. And yeah, thank you for your time and
Ciao
enjoy.
to everybody.
Yeah,
Okay.
brilliant. Thanks very much,
Bye.
everyone. We'll see you very soon.